me try to allow other guests to join. Okay, thank you very much for your patience. We are going to start our training with an introduction of guests from Mr. Kitso Tokong, who is the current Vice President of the University of Botswana Social Work Society. Mr. Kitso Tokong, the floor is yours.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kitso Tokong, and I will be introducing our guests. First and foremost, I would like to thank you, all of us who have managed to attend the meeting, and I believe we will be together until the end of the meeting. The first guest that we are having here is Dr. Motoko. He is a business consultant. We also have Mr. Mr. Financial consultant and a trainer. We have Kumo Sebabi, our former president of this beautiful society, who is also a founder of Sebabi and Confident Consultant Company. We also have Ms. Me Mawanyana. She is a social welfare officer at IDM, I think so. And I believe they will say more about their profile when they introduce themselves. And ladies and gentlemen, with that, I will give my president, Ludo Matombo, to give us a welcoming remark. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kitso Tokong, for that. We will now be handing over to Ms. Ludo Matombo to give us welcoming remarks before we get into the agenda for today and equip our leaders with the right skills. Ludo, the opportunity is yours.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ludo Matombo. I am pleased to welcome you this evening to our leadership training. And I would like to thank my highly distinguished guest and my committee for making your time to attend this training. I know some of you probably could be traveling since it's a holiday, but you saw it befit to be with us in this event. Ladies and gentlemen, we saw it befit to have our leadership training under the theme equipping our leaders with the right skills. And I would like to welcome all our guests and everyone. Let us be free and let us share information, share all the skills. I hope that we will have an insight session. And thank you so much. May we please enjoy ourselves. Thank you, Kazo.
Thank you, Ms. Ludo, for welcoming our guests. I believe they feel welcome and they will be able to impart and share their knowledge with us. We are going to give Ms. Meanyana an opportunity to take us through what is leadership and just the essence of leadership as a whole. Ms. Meanyana, the opportunity is yours.
Thank you very much, Katso. Am I audible?
Yes,
Emma.
ma'am. You are.
Thank you very much. My name is Mami Anyana, not Maunyana. Tokong. The host has already mentioned, I'm the president of the Botswana National Association of Social Workers. I work for one of the local private universities, but I am not at IDM. In the division called Student Welfare and Support Services. And what I do here is industry liaison, and it includes professional and personal development for students, linking the students with the industry, as well as building relationships that benefit the students here, and also doing research for our graduates, those who have already graduated. I lead the graduate tracer studies that are conducted within the university. But basically, I think I was invited not because of the job that I do where I am, but because of my portfolio in the National Association of Social Workers. Just so that you can see who we are talking to, I have a problem with network here, so I'll just give a glimpse of who I am and how I look, and then I'll go back to not sharing my video. Oh God. It seems I'm having a problem sharing, but anyway, Ludo will share my picture with you guys. I believe she has it there. And let me take this opportunity though to greet all those who are present in this meeting and recognize the presence of the guests that Tokong has already introduced. And moreover, let me take this opportunity to appreciate the organizers of this event, where I believe you want to equip your leaders with the right skills. I have been requested to talk about what leadership is. And I believe that by this you mean I should just define what leadership is in the one line that I know this term to be, and then go back to my seat. I get that. And that being the case, Bahai, so I will not dwell much into the textbook definitions of what leadership or is or what or who a leader is. I have, although borrowed from some authors that you may already know, Bo John Maxwell, Bo Lao Tzu, and Bo Sansu, to mention but a few. In trying to come up with this definition, really, I've come across a lot of words and ideas. They include issues or words like inspiration, words like responsibility, ideas like the one who has power to direct and influence, someone who is admirable, someone with a concern for humanity, or those that are making an effort to change others for the better. I've come across words and definitions that go together with those who wish to elevate people or situations from point A to point B. I have also heard that some are born, that is for you to decide or argue about, and some are made. And that some of the ideas I've come across, which some I believe are that one cannot lead, if one cannot lead themselves, it will be very difficult for them to lead others. the list and ideas really are exhaustive. But in my own point of view, really, leadership can be, anyone of us can partake in leadership, and we can make a difference in our own little corners. You do not need to hold a key position or be a top politician or even an army general to be considered a leader. In my view, leadership is not about the ranks or positions, double PRO, double project person, double president, double VP, really. It's about action. Some people have love is a verb. And in my view, then leadership as well becomes a verb. Leadership is about a mindset. It's about the ability, it's about a willingness to, first of all, share yourself with others, your experiences, your talents, and mostly your wisdom, because it is not all of us who have that. Secondly, it is the ability to see what needs to be done and taking a decision to do it. For instance, now that you are in the society, you would attest to this, Matombo and others, that social work needs to reach a point where it is recognized, for example, in Botswana. And you have taken a decision while you are studying at UB to contribute to the achievement of this goal by taking up leadership positions in the society. Thirdly, it is about having the courage to take the first step without necessarily being ordered by anybody to do that. It is therefore a chance for everybody to partake. In my view, anyone with the above mindset really can partake in leadership, or they can become a leadership. And we talk about a lot of qualities that make you a leader. We've talked about a lot of them: integrity, confidence, and all those. But to me, it takes courage, it takes compassion, and it takes wisdom. So those three really qualities are what I believe should make that sort of mindset should exist in the mindset of somebody partaking in leadership, as opposed to thinking that a leader has to be powerful. They have to possess some kind of special confidence or be outspoken, or that you have to think at complex levels. So no, that's not my belief, especially in today's world, where there are predicaments and opportunities of technology, where resources are scarce. We tend to want to see leaders who are addicted to complicating things. Actually, for me, the opposite is true. My view is that people are looking forward to simplicity. By saying this, you should not construe me to mean that leadership is easy, but I'm only emphasizing that those taking up leadership positions or taking the role of leadership should make attempts to break this inertia of thinking that leadership is about complexity, and simply to help people to find uncomplex ways of reaching desired goals. We can attend all leadership camps and receive training on the steps of becoming effective leaders, or we can learn on qualities of great leaders. But at the end of the day, really, genuine leadership tends to boil down to what Lao Tzu describes as a mindset, which I've already talked about. But what in what he says is a mindset that must be cultivated, that must be nurtured and developed, and most importantly, practiced, because with practice comes perfection. And that this mindset must be encouraged, especially by those in leadership, because you are not going to be in leadership forever. Therefore, you must cultivate and nurture and encourage others to practice leadership. One of the critical forces driving human performance today, they say, is the need for a meaning. the need to have meaning and purpose, as well as the desire to be recognized for our contributions in this world that we are passing in. And as such, that is why I value, or I tend to concur with what Lao talks about when he says this leadership is about a mindset. Effective or successful leaders are therefore people who take action without needing a position or without needing to be asked. They coach others, which I expect that Kato, Matombo, and the rest of you are doing in the society at UB. They coach others and mentor them because they know that they can only achieve results through others. They also model behavior. That is why earlier I was talking about agreeing with those who say if you cannot lead yourself, you cannot expect to easily lead others. You will make a disaster of leadership. Therefore, inner management or being able to lead the self becomes critical for all of us who wish to partake in leadership. In the end, so I wish to end by sharing two quotes from some of the key people who have explained the roots of leadership, Ene, Lao Tzu, and Sun Tzu, who talk about one of their quotes, one of Lao's quotes is that a leader is best when people know he existed. When his job is done and his aim is fulfilled, the people will say we did it ourselves. A leader is best when people barely know he existed. When his job is done and his aim is fulfilled, the people will say we did it ourselves. This can be referred by some of the authors who you may have read as compassionate or exemplary or servant leadership. Basically, it means that you do your job in such a way that in the end, everybody else will take grace for that. And not necessarily yourself. Mostly, I think I've picked these mostly with people who are normally VPs. You know how quiet they are, but underground they're really influential and pushing for things to happen. And the president is sitting up there and shining, and everybody else, the treasurer for the project that he was doing, the project's person and the PRO are shining, but he was down there making things happen on the ground, and nobody ever really recognizes him until he's introduced as the VP. He's hidden among the rest. And so that is what servant leadership is all about. The second one by Sun Tzu is that the general who advances, a leader is the general, that general who advances without coveting fame and retreats without fearing disgrace, whose only thought is to protect his country and do good service for his sovereign, is a jewel to the kingdom. So he says a jewel to the kingdom is that general who advances without coveting fame and retreats without fearing disgrace, whose only thought is to protect social work in your case and do good service for your clients, in this case, the sovereign. And simply put, this is a challenge to all of you in my ending, that you should be ready for the wins and the losses you will encounter along the way. You need to fall and rise up, and that you should not lose focus of the goal or purpose of what or why you are doing what you are doing in the society at UB. Thank you very much, Kato. I wish to end here. If there are any questions and if you feel that there are any clarifications that you will need, I believe that you will give everybody a chance to do so.
Thank you very much for the informative and insightful information you have been sharing with us, Ms. Meanyana. I believe we have all learned and grasped a few things from what you said. from what you have been saying, I picked so many things, but I will only mention about 3 things that really caught my eye, and I believe my colleagues here would agree with me. In your while talking, you mentioned that leadership starts with inner management, and I believe we will all take that as homework. We will all take that as a way, and it will guide us in our leadership journey. And you mentioned that we should be ready for the wins and losses. Let us all take that seriously and actually prepare for the wins and losses. Thank you, Ms. Manyana, for the information. We really appreciate you. We are now moving on with our agenda. We will be giving Mr. Kumo Sebabi, our former president, to share with us his experiences with leadership and share his advices with us as the new committee of the University of Botswana Social Work Society. Mr. Kumo Sebabi, the opportunity is yours.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Kat. I think I've gotten used to saying that over the time I've spent there, and you're doing a great job and continue doing so. And so, the first thing I would like to do, I would like to greet our guests today. Make it try it. I'm not sure if the title is right. Mr. Mutoko, our highly esteemed president of the Botswana National Association of Social Workers, Menya. Yeah, I think that's pronounced right. And I welcome the change. I welcome the good change because when I was in the committee, the National Association of Social Workers, we were distant, I would say that, but for us to be able to see such a development where we see the president herself gracing us with her presence, that's really great, and kudos to the executive committee of the UBSWS for organizing that. It's a very good start for you guys. When you are called to share experiences, I think you are just called to reflect on what was or what wasn't, and particularly during our term, there are some things that I've learned a lot from, and there are some lessons that I can share with you guys. And the first thing I would like to talk about is the UB system and its relationship with clubs or societies. The way it is that for you to be outstanding as a club in UB, you have to be able to utilize networks. You have to be able to utilize the relationship with you and other clubs, the relationship with you and the SRC, your relationship with student welfare. Those are the key players that you should be able to connect with and make sure that you utilize them. Because when I'm talking about these entities or these departments, I'm talking about where the resources are. When you talk about student welfare, it's most where you get your resources. When you talk about the SRC, now this is a platform for advocates. These are the people who can help you access bigger things, access opportunities, and the likes. What I learned from this area is that because for me it was better because I already was knowledgeable about the key people in student welfare. We were knowledgeable about the key people in the SRC, and it made things a lot easy for us because we were able to navigate around the school. We were able to do things that other clubs were always wondering, like, how can they do that? And that is one of the advantages of having such structures in place for you is because you are able to know not the shortcuts. You're able to know the effective methods of doing things. You do not get the runaround, but you get the benefit of the doubt most times because you are able to network with those people and they know you. So, Tautona, ke kopa hore o tsamaele the General Executive Committee. Don't just sit and close your doors, your office doors, if you have an office. No, go out there and make sure that let's more hard. The second thing I would like to talk about is the general structure of the UBSWS from the way I've seen it. The UBSWS and its leadership, I would say leadership for us was what we made it at that time. Because for our executive committee, we had set out to revamp the society because we felt like it needed an improved image. So that was our vision at that time, and it eventually became the veil of or the core of our tenure during the time we were in the committee. And so everything we did was in line with this mandate. Everything that we was going our way, we sat down and we talked about what is it that we want to achieve as the committee. And I'm saying talking, but to be honest, sometimes it will be more arguing than talking. Sometimes there'll be back and forth with other members, and there'll be all that. And so with that, you cannot avoid conflict. But as you are in conflict, make sure that you remember your vision, make sure that you remember what you set out to achieve. That will be the common ground for you guys at every turn when you are having disagreements. And conflict is natural. Conflict is, I think it's something that's organic to everyone. And the most important thing is for you guys to have conflict resolution structures, strong conflict resolution structures. So no, there should be a strong conflict resolution structure. You can just enact it, and this is one of the things that I felt we should have done during our time. One of the things that we should have done was to enact a conflict resolution committee or subcommittee or something like that. That includes people who have experience in such an area and who can be able to sit us down and talk to us. I know Dr. Zeman is always there, but when you are unable to reach him and when you feel like you need to create something that you feel is for you, you may go ahead and create that structure, because this is always the case in organizations such as this one. And what I like to say nowadays is the current times. I don't know if you've noticed, the trend is that people, I don't know if it's the pandemic or it has always been like that, but people respect their mental health now and they value their mental health to a point where if they feel like it's not being considered, they will walk away. And this teaches us that empathy is the new leadership. So you need to be able to appreciate people more than you criticize them. You need to be able to understand people's position before you sort of judge their position. And this is important because during our time, empathy was not the order of the day. I think we were rigid, sometimes too rigid, and that made some members feel isolated. It actually led to the birth of, I would say, subgroups or divisions within the executive committee, which wasn't good, because at the end of the day, we wanted everyone to feel like they have an input, wanted everyone to feel like they're involved. So these are some of the things that I've learned, and I would like to advise this committee again to please don't forget the department. We have the social work department. Sometimes you are going to feel a lot that people are not supporting you, but then again the question will be, but what are you doing for people to be able to support you? And you need to be able to make sure that you go out, you include them in initiatives that you're going to be organizing, not just including them as people who just come and then they they attend, but you can include them in the process, in the overall process, so that they also feel ownership, so they feel that they are part of the society. And what I one time always said is the society, its long-term vision, one of its long-term strategies should be able to ensure graduation from this entity to the National Association of Social Workers. And this is where the relationship with you guys and the National Association comes. You need to make sure that it's not only you, the executive committee, who have access to the National Association, but you should make sure that all of the members are able to access the National Committee. Because at the end of the day, if we are a branch of the National Association and then there's no relationship, we're just there with our projects that are not tied to the National Association, then at the end, what is our cost then? Because as social workers, that is what we are there for. That is our long-term vision. Because when you look at this society, and when it started in 1999, all the people who have been, or most people who have been through the society, and if you look at the previous classes, maybe it would be nice of them if they would be in the National Association, because this platform gave them a chance to understand and to learn the importance of social work and the course that we are fighting right now. Because never think that you are in this executive committee just for you to serve your year and then go, or for you to just come here and learn whatever you want to learn and go. No, you should also make sure that when you go out of the society, its values, and by extension the values of the National Association, they are tattooed in you. You know that wherever you go, you are a leader, you are a social work leader, and that's what I carry around everywhere I go. So let me not waste too much time and just once again say, please, I'm glad that you are here today. It was not like that for us, and it's a very good development. Please continue. You and your executive committee continue to support this growing entity, the social work society, because sometimes we're going to so please, thank you very much for that. Over to you, Kat.
Thank you, Mr. Kumo. Just quoting a few words from what he said, he highlighted that we should utilize the networks that are available for us in the university. For instance, the student welfare unit and the SRC. He also mentioned that we need to have a strong conflict resolution structure in case we get into conflict among ourselves. We are now going to give Dr. Mutoko an opportunity to take us through leadership skills. Dr. Mutoko, the opportunity is yours.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. All protocols observed. Thank you to the organizers, and thank you to the other guests that have already spoken. And I appreciate everybody for being here. Just give me 1 second, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
Hello and welcome. My name is Wilbert Mutoko. I stay in Gaborone, Botswana. I have 20 years experience serving in 3 continents, that is Africa, Europe, and UAE. I speak, write, coach, and consult on strategic leadership and financial literacy. My goal in life is to ensure that I help people to discover their purpose. And welcome. Hello and welcome. My name is Wilbert Mutoko. I stay in Gaborone, Botswana. I have 20 years experience serving in 3 continents, that is Africa, Europe, and UAE. I speak, write, coach, and consult on strategic leadership and financial literacy. My goal in life is to ensure that I help people to discover their purpose and to harness their potentials so that they become great leaders. I help leaders to become more creative, more innovative, and more visionary so that they can be more impactful and increase business performance as well as business profitability. Thank you very much.
Welcome, everybody. It's such a good thing to be here, and I appreciate the time that I've been given. So I'm going to speak about 10 skills for effective leadership. 10 skills for effective leadership. Now, usually when I speak in the corporate, I normally talk about the 10 skills, but because of time, here I'm going to talk about the 3 skills of leadership. We have already been told the definition of leadership, so we are not going to go there. We'll go straight into these leadership skills. We all know, as John Maxwell once said, everything rises and falls on leadership. Leaders are scarce. Therefore, it is critical that we have this particular conversation. All right. So number 1 skill for leaders is being where you are going. We have already been told earlier on by one of the guests that leadership begins with a self-leadership. Do you lead yourself? Do you understand yourself? Can you lead you before you start leading everybody else? But then the question is, where are you going? Do you see the future? Great leaders see the future, of which I believe all of us here, we are leaders. And it's important for us to be visionaries. You need to know the vision, you need to know the mission, you need to know the values, and you need to live the vision, live the mission, and to live the values. All right? So I'm going to ask you, because I'm taking this as a conversation. I'm not going to be talking to you. All right? And in any case, even if it was a talk, 20 minutes is quite short, but it's a time that we can have a quick conversation among ourselves. I need somebody who can kindly share with us the vision of the society. Any volunteer? Any volunteer who wants to tell us what is the vision of the social work society?
Okay, I can. The vision of the society is to be a leading student organization in addressing the negative outlooks of individuals, groups, and communities. Yes.
Thank you very much, Wilibile. Now, one might be wondering, why am I asking this? The reason why I'm asking is that in many organizations, you will be surprised that even the people leading the organization do not know the vision, or they have it somewhere at the back of their minds. No wonder many organizations are stuck. As long as the leader or the leaders cannot see the future, then it's going to affect everybody. If you don't have the vision on your fingertips, if you don't have the mission on your fingertips, and you don't have the values, how then are you going to live them without actually knowing them and understanding them? Because it begins with you. Then in some organizations, you find that, yes, the mission is there, it's written, it's on the wall. The vision is there, it's on the wall. The values are there, they are on the wall. But when you look at what's happening in the organization, The vision is saying something, but where the organization is going is elsewhere. The values are saying something, but the way the people do their things, the culture in the organization is speaking the opposite. So we need to ask ourselves and to remind ourselves that everything rises and falls on leadership. We need to be visionaries. How good are we at being visionaries? How good are we at casting our vision and ensuring that everybody is following us to pursue that particular vision? Because it's one thing for you to have the vision and probably you are living the values, you understand the mission, but have you helped everybody who is in your team? Have you helped everybody who is a member of the society to have the same understanding that you have? What am I talking about? You have seen it because leadership begins at home. Charity begins at home. You see some parents who are very hardworking. They have a very good work ethic. Very hardworking, very caring, but when you look at their children, it's the opposite. Which means they have been able to maintain a good culture personally as the leaders, the father and the mother probably, or the mother alone, or the father alone. But they have not been able to inculcate that same culture into their children, and there is a problem. And there is no way you can actually say, Kanana, it's not my fault. I've tried the best that I can. When your children are misbehaving, there is no way you can call yourself a star. It's a painful truth. There is no way you can call yourself a star. Your good leadership is seen when you are not there, whether in the family or in the workplace or in the business or in an NGO. Your good leadership traits are seen when you are not there. What do I mean? We will see it among your followers. So that's the number one thing. Great leaders are great visionaries. Skill number two that we need to take very seriously is empathy. Being able to put yourself in other people's shoes. I would have called it emotional intelligence, but I thought that would be, a big subject. So I thought we can just look at the skill of empathy, which is actually a subset of emotional intelligence. Are you able to put yourself in other people's shoes? Or people have to do, as you say, people has to do the way you do things without ever listening. So attached with empathy is the skill of effective listening. That's a separate skill on its own. But for today, we will just bring it together with empathy. An effective leader will listen carefully. They will empathize. Have you seen what some leaders do? You hear that Kito did A, B, C, D. You don't give Kito a chance to explain their side of the story. That means you are not empathetic. You just listen to whoever brought the negative news about Kito. What if Kito did not do what they are saying she did? What if Kito never said that? I think all of us here at one time or another, people lied about you. White lies, creative lies. They say they saw you in Mochudi, but you have never gone to Mochudi since you were born. They say they saw you in Mochudi and you were doing A, B, C, D, that is negative. And you're like, what? Not only that, they say other things and other things and other things. So when you are a good leader, you must learn to be balanced. You must learn to be empathetic. You must learn to put yourself in the shoes of your team members. It's not everybody that people report to you that is true. Some people have got agendas. I have learned it. No matter how much I care about somebody, no matter how close somebody is to me, when I hear something about another person, even if it's coming from somebody I trust so much, I always want to give that other person a chance. That's leadership. because you will be surprised. People can lie. Sometimes they don't lie, but they will have spoken on their side. So it's important for you to hear the other side. You can only do that if you are an empathetic leader. If you are not an empathetic leader, it's none of your business. That's why you realize that people can easily demote another person. They can easily promote another person. They can easily ill-treat another person. They easily bully another person without even noticing. Why? There is lack of empathy. And I think leaders, you can agree with me. We are right now, as the whole world is going through one of the hardest times in history. If you are an empathetic leader, you need to be careful with your words. Be careful with what comes out of your mouth. You can actually destroy people by your words, and at the same time, you can build people. You will also agree with me that sometimes somebody can do something to you. Maybe they can step on your foot physically. You will easily forget that. But when somebody tells you you are a fool, you are ugly, you are an idiot, it's not easy to forgive and forget. Words are powerful. So an empathetic leader is very careful with their words. Before you speak, watch your words. Think carefully. We all know the golden rule. Whatever you want others to do unto you, do the same to others. So whatever you want others to say to you, whichever way you want people to honor you, you do the same. In fact, if possible, do it first to others. Be an empathetic leader. We don't have many empathetic leaders because we have so many greedy and selfish leaders. As a result, it's difficult because they are always thinking about themselves first. And I'm hoping, even if you were here and you were not empathetic, it's time to start learning to be empathetic. It's a very important skill in leadership, particularly when you are leading a society, because a society is a not-for-profit business. It's a not-for-profit organization. If you want to know, leading people voluntarily, volunteering as a leader is one of the hardest things to do. It can even be easier to lead when you have been elected. I mean, you have been employed, you have been hired, not where you are elected, or maybe you are actually volunteering and you are not paid for it. It's the hardest because some people will treat you anyhow. You need empathy. And number 3 is the ability to build a team. Great leaders, effective leaders, impactful leaders are good at building teams. They know how to assemble a good team. And when they have assembled the good team, they put them in the right positions. It's one thing to bring the right people, to recruit the right people into your organization. But it's another is functioning in their position. All right? And then you empower them. So one thing I like about your society is that you're always running around to see what can we do to train. Now you see you are gathered here as leaders to say, how can we be more empowered? That's great. Other times you gather the people, you gather the members, organization members, and you say, let's be empowered. That's excellent. That's what effective leaders do. They know how to recruit people, and then they put those people in the right positions where they qualify to be. And then on top of that, they empower them. They train them. They coach them. They mentor them. That's what great leaders do. Now, if you are not able to build a team, that means you are going to do everything by yourself. Can I tell you something? You are not going to do anything great in this world alone. It's not possible. Give me one example of a person who became great because they were doing everything by themselves. No, not one. Even Jesus Christ, the greatest, he had 12 disciples. that he ended up calling apostles. Each time he went to minister in the towns, he would send his disciples 2 by 2. He didn't do it alone. Another time he sent 12. Another time he sent 70. He did not only have 12 disciples. Another time he sent 70 of them. So you think you can do everything by yourself? I'm sorry, you can't. You are going to be limited. And this is the reason why we see some companies, particularly small and micro enterprises, they remain small, they remain micro forever. The reason is simple. These people may have good hearts. These people may actually be empathic, but they don't know how to build a team. Remember, building a team also has to do with having team spirit. It also has to do with you being able to lead that team. Some people are comfortable doing things by themselves, or maybe with a friend, or maybe with their brother, or maybe with their father. Somebody close to them, yes, they will do. But if you are going to be a great leader, you must get to that level. There's so many people following you, and they make things happen even in your absence. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you learned something from what I've said. Thank you once again. Over to you, Director of Ceremonies.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mutoko. I would like to highlight a few things that Dr. Mutoko mentioned. He mentioned that it's important for us as leaders to align our work with our mission, our society mission, vision, and our values. He also mentioned that it's important for leaders to be empathetic. It's important for us to be balanced as leaders. And then lastly, the last skill he shared with us was it's important for us to be able to build a team. In order for us to be able to mentor and coach and empower our members, it's important for us to have that ability, that team building spirit. Also, he highlighted something when he said that everything rises and falls with leadership. I believe we all will have to take that seriously and keep it in mind, bear it in mind that everything rises and falls on leadership. We will now be taking questions from our attendees. Feel free to ask questions to our guests. Remember, we are learning, we are getting equipped with the right skills to be leaders. Oh, there's a hand. Zibo, you may ask.
Evening, everyone. I would like to ask Sir Mutoko, what mistake do you see leaders make frequently?
All right, thank you, Zibo. There are many mistakes that leaders make, but one of them, the major one, which I don't know whether we can call it a mistake or we can just say it's a deficiency. Leadership is from the heart. It's either you care about people or you don't. And remember, you can't give what you don't have. So I think many people can do well as managers, because managers, they plan, they control, they coordinate activities, and they make things happen. They can bring out good output. But when you get to the level of leadership now, so you can still be a manager and a leader at the same time. We need managers, but we have a shortage of leaders because leaders are influential. Leaders are inspiring. Leaders are visionaries. Leaders care about the people that are following them. But sometimes managers don't care about the people. They care about the production. So for me, I would say, yes, there are many mistakes that leaders make or that we make as leaders, but the major one is actually a deficiency. This deficiency is very difficult to deal with unless people are willing to unlearn, unless people are willing to change their attitudes. Because there are people who are actually proud. They say, me, I don't care. I don't care about anybody. I speak the truth as it is, right? So you can talk about empathy and all these things. They just don't care. I've spoken in different places. Sometimes I'm doing training in the corporate, and you are training people and you are telling them about servant leadership, about, you are very excited as a speaker and as a trainer, and somebody just raised their hand and they say, you know what, for me, it's just transactional. I follow transactional leadership. You do your job, we pay you, it's over. I don't need to smile at you. Your mom has passed away, it's none of our business. We are here to work. I'm like, whoo, Lord of heaven. So you see, what do you do with such a person? It's in the heart. They want you to work, they give you money, it's over. There's no need to smile at each other. If you have problems, keep your problems to yourself. But you see, when you are a great leader, you care about your team. You try to understand everybody in the team. For example, you are the president, you must understand the vice president and a few people that report directly to you. And then you make sure that those under you, they do the same to those under them. What makes your followers tick? Do you try to inspire those people and motivate them in the way, according to the way they understand life? But then if you don't care about people, nobody can do anything to you. Your attitude determines your altitude. Your attitude determines how far you go in life. So that's the biggest problem I've seen. And that's why you see that leadership, whether at personal level, or it's leadership in the home, or it's leadership regionally, or it's leadership nationally, internationally, globally. We have seen different leaders at different levels doing things that cause you to wonder, why? How could somebody in leadership do this kind of thing? They are in a leadership position, but they are not a leader. They don't have their heart for people. They have a heart for themselves, unfortunately. And there's nothing you can do to them. Even if it's at national level, some other presidents and other countries can talk to a certain leader and say, but why don't you change A, B, C, D? Why? Nothing changes. It's from their heart. Over to you, Director of Ceremonies.
Thank you, Dr. Mutoko. Feel free to ask questions, ladies and gentlemen. Our guests are here to train us and equip us with skills like I have mentioned. There's another hand from Tapiwa.
Thank you, please, Kazo. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so mine is not a question, but it's a comment on what Mr. Mutongo has said. So when he talked about empathy and building a team, what came to my mind was, as a leader, I have to firstly know my personality. Secondly, I have to know other people's temperaments. And thirdly, I have to separate my life routines from other people I'm dealing with. Because when you are required to be empathetic as a leader, and when you are required to build a team as a leader, that means that you have to recognize other people's strengths rather than being based much on their weaknesses. Because as leaders, we hold different perceptions on life. But my perception won't necessarily be Katso's perception. Therefore, as a leader, it is important for me to know or to recognize other people's temperaments. That's the only way I can be empathetic to them. That's the only way I will know that as a leader, where am I wrong and where am I right? And where is my colleague right and where is he or she wrong? And when I have to build a team, I have to also know that my perception is not necessarily someone's perception. Because when we focus on strength, then building a team will automatically be easy for us, rather than focusing on each other's weaknesses. Therefore, as a leader, firstly, we have to know our personality. We have to know other people's temperaments, especially those who we are in the committee with, and also separate our life routines from our leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Tapiwa. You have said it very well.
Thank you very much, Tapiwa, for your comment. Any other comment or question? Like I had mentioned, let us feel free to interact with our guests, and remember, we are here to learn. Okay, Bernard?
Okay, thank you, Madam, for the opportunity. And let me start by thanking the former president on the job well done. They did what they could to move on. And let me also thank Dr. Mutoko, especially because I want to comment on team building. As for the former president's committee, I think there was a challenge, especially because of COVID-19. Most of their project, I think they were shortened by COVID-19 because they planned to do a lot of things, but because they could not meet physically or show their project physically, it was a challenge. And that's why I'm saying, let me thank President Kumo, the former President Kumo, for a job well done. I think they tried their level best, especially in the program of team building. Thank you, Doctor, for this skill of team building, because with the COVID-19 protocols, I think there's a challenge there, especially for us leaders to do, especially to do our project. Let me simply put it this way. But it will take more effort, especially when you said that being a leader is a challenge. Now we have to collect our own resources to lead this ship, and there it will take more effort, especially that we have to live under these protocols. And this challenge also for team building. Right now, when I joined the society, I expected a lot, especially physically. But now, because I could not even see my leader for some time, to share on something that I also want to see in this association. It was so hard. They had to postpone things. They had to do that, and that destroyed team building. That's why most of, even in my class, most of people, they started moving backward because there was no that cohesion to move for or to pursue certain project within the association. And let me thank Dr. Moto for that input, especially on team building, and also say, as this committee, we are also challenged to use our limited resources, especially in the team building process.
Thank you very much, Bernard. Well said.
Thank you, Bernard. Ms. Mianyan, the opportunity is yours.
Hello, let me just quickly talk to what the first person was asking the question of what are some of the mistakes that we see in leadership. And maybe before that, thank you very much, Dr. Mutoko, for your insightful presentation. It was very relevant, especially to the caliber of leaders in the society and where I see they want to go. In my experience, really, in the National Association, as well as having experienced working in different organizations, I think one of the biggest mistakes that we make as leaders is not having succession planning. We tend to go into our leadership, go through our tenure and think we have achieved what we've achieved, and really do not make an effort to build leaders. To me, in my journey of leadership, I think my greatest achievement should be to develop other leaders who will take the baton from myself, as I also expect to take baton in other greater heights, greater than where I am. And as such, I would like to urge this committee to ensure that they build others who will be able to stand even after them. Because what I've seen within the National Association, and I think during the time that I was at UB, I don't know about now what is happening currently, was the fear to get into leadership positions. Even if people have the potential, but they have the fear that people are probably not going to follow, I'm probably not going to achieve. Therefore, during your tenure, make sure that you build the confidence in people to be able to take on the baton as you graduate from the university. Because what we are seeing in organizations is that people are there, they have been trained and everything, but at the end of the day, sometimes when positions are open within organizations, we see that external people will be coming in. Where was the training? What was the efforts of all the training that was happening if it's not about growing the people who are there? And by saying that, I don't want you to mistakenly think that I mean that people should die in the same organization. But what I'm simply trying to say is let us build those who can take the baton from us going forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mienyana. Well said. Succession planning is very important.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mienyana. Tapiwa.
Thank you very much, Kato. Firstly, I would like to appreciate Ms. Mienyana for the definitions she gave about leadership. When she was talking about the mistakes that we do as leaders, I then realized that the common and most mistake that we leaders do is the desire and expectations to be recognized with position or power rather than with actions. When she talked about being a servant leader, she mentioned something about we should barely be recognized, but we should take action without the need to be asked or without the need to have a position, which is very true. Because even in the Bible, Jesus chose us to be fruitful, that we may be fruitful by our actions. Therefore, by our fruits, we will be recognized, or by our fruits, we will be known. So I believe that if we can work on that aspect of not being recognized by positions or the desire to be powerful, then it will be easy for us to be the servant of people or to serve people. Thank you so much for that definition, Ms. Mianyan. Thank you, Gazo.
Thank you very much, Tapiwa. I'll give Dr. Mutoko an opportunity.
Thank you very much, Katso. So one other mistake that is coming to my mind as leaders is being unavailable or being inaccessible. It's not easy to be a student and at the same time sacrificing to lead. We all know that. It's a real sacrifice. And sometimes the people we are leading may not even understand it. They would probably understand if they become part of us. So my assumption is that you are volunteering. Is that correct? Is that correct, Katso?
Yes, sir, it's correct.
Right. So in other words, we must face the fact that when you are volunteering, you are a student, you still want to pass. So like right now, others can be busy reading for tests and exams. They're writing their assignments. But here you are in a leadership training class. Why? Yes, it will help you to improve on yourself, but at the same time, the major issue is to say, we want to be better leaders. We want to take the society to another level. How can we do it? Oh, let's sit and be trained. Let's sit and gather and ask each other questions and have some guests to talk with so that we can be better leaders. That's a sacrifice. And that's something you really need to be appreciated for. But unfortunately, sometimes people don't appreciate. That's the sacrifice of leadership. So what I would just kindly ask you is to avoid that mistake of being unavailable and inaccessible. You see, before COVID, you could go to someone's lecture room, you could go to someone's office, you could go, you could meet up with somebody and you talk. But now, if as a leader, you keep quiet, you are in your cocoon, what's happening to all these people that are following you? They will be like sheep without a shepherd and they will get lost. So yes, we are busy. We also have issues in our lives that we are dealing with, and we have to pass our assignments and everything. We have a future to look up to, but let's not forget we are leaders and we have people that we have to inspire. We have people that we have to inform. We have people that we have to empower as well. So let us avoid being inaccessible or unavailable leaders. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mutoko, for the insightful information. We will take two last questions from our attendees. In the interest of time, is there any question? Ludo?
Thank you, Kato. It's not a question, but a comment on what has been said from the presentation, from what is leadership. I've learned that leadership is about the inner management, is about action, our ability to devote ourselves. And then Mr. Kuma also talked that we must utilize our networks, have a relationship with other clubs, find opportunities as a club. In order to improve the image of the society, we must have conflict resolution structures. And then on leadership skills, I also, Mr. Dr. Dr. Mutoko talked about we must be empathetic toward others, and then we must be able to build a team. As a good leader is the one who builds a team, assembles a good team, and put it in good shape. As leadership is not from, it's from the heart. So thank you. I just wanted to appreciate all our guests for all that they have shared with us. I really learned a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Ludo.
Thank you. Martin, your hand was up.
Yes. Thank you all for the lessons, and I learned a lot. Yes, we have started now being leaders. We long started being leaders, and now we are the committee of the Ubsws Society 2021-2022. My question now is, as a leader, let me just put myself in Ludo's position. As the president, how do I keep my team on track with the mission and the vision of the society? Yes, we have started right now with the training, but moving on, how do I keep my team on track with the mission and the vision of the society? Thank you. I hope I'm understood.
Thank you, Martin, for the question. We will allow one of our guests to volunteer to answer your question.
Thank you, Olibile. So what I would say is, one of the things that successful leaders do is to use consultative leadership, where you don't just think about something and you tell people to do it. So it's important for you as the main leader or the one who is in front to ensure that you understand the vision, you understand the mission, you understand the values, you align them with your own values. And then ensure that all the people in the committee get closer to each one of them as much as possible so that you understand them. You know, being a leader is not easy. It's not easy at all. But by the moment you begin to know the weaknesses and strengths of each of the people, and then you try to bring the strengths, your strengths, and each of them's strengths together, then the society is going to go boom, 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 boom. So I think for me, I would say consultative leadership can play a major role. That's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mutoko. Tapiwa?
Thank you, Gato. From what I have learned today, I will try to put myself into Ludo's shoes, our president. So Martin was asking on how her question was more based on influence, because from what I have learned from our guests is leadership is all about influencing. So we have to ask ourselves, not only Ludo, what level of influence do we have as leaders? Are we inspiring commitment between the members of the society? Are we doing things that are embedded to our mission? Because if we are going to consider these things, then it will be easy for us to commit, and it will be easy for our president to know and read our temperances so as we can build a good working team. So it's all about both of us, not only our president, because for our president to function, we also need to function. She cannot get to the top alone. We cannot get to the top alone. Therefore, that's the importance of influence in leadership, I may say.
Excellent.
Thank you, Tapiwa. Is there anyone who would like to ask the last question or add on to what has been said before we give Tatayotle an opportunity to give closing remarks? Okay, I believe there are no questions and comments. Tatayotle, please give us closing remarks.
Thank you very much, Kazo, for the opportunity. My name is Tatayotle Gwanayetile. I'm currently the Secretary General for the University of Botswana Social Work Society. Allow me to thank the word speakers for tonight's training. Taking a time out of their personal and professional busy schedules is such an honor, means a lot to us as the committee members. Having participated in our discussion today, we should also remember that there's no such thing as an overnight success. What I would like us to dwell much on is the hard work, the commitment, the energy, and all that is needed to process and the process that takes us towards achieving our goals and successes. However, the journey has a lot of potholes. The journey includes a lot of failures, and then these failures shall never impede our motivation, shall never impede our goals to strive to be the best of us. One of the overly used quotes about leadership by Vince Lombardi is that leaders are not born, they are made. They are made by hard effort, which is prize and which is the price which all of us must pay to achieve any goal that is
that is put forward, right? We have to strive, we have to push, we have to put much effort into what we want to achieve as individuals and as leadership is all about vision and we also we have learned that from Dr. Mutoko and Josero Meyani. With that all said, I thank you all. I thank you for taking your time. Tomorrow we know it's independence. You could be probably doing salads and stuff, but you have made it to our event. So thank you very much to all our guests. Can I also congratulate you, Gatso, for pulling up such an amazing event today. Thank you very much. Excuse me for that. We had a power cut in Prokweng, and then the network is also failing me, but thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tata Yotlhe. Like she said, ra leboga bagaetsho gore e be le honorile di-invite tsa rona. Dr. Mutoko, thank you very much for attending to our event. Thank you very much, Ms. Mianyane, for honoring our invite. Le kamoso o mongwe bagaetsho. Thank you.
Most welcome. All the best.
Thank you.